We go through multiple pieces of data till we can analyze each of our zip codes, and we can make decisions based upon that to know which areas do we want to focus on and which areas do we not. We prioritize those in order. Okay. Next thing we want to do after that, after we've got our market research done, is we want to build a list of properties. And when we do that, we're going to look at things like probates, inherited properties, tax liens, absentee owners, free and clear, fire damage, code violations, divorce, vacant. I mean, those are a lot of different things. Honestly, I prefer to deal with people who own houses. I don't really care so much about some of these situations because I feel like people get too far down into those niches. And we buy a lot of houses from people who actually live in the homes. And those are some of our best sellers. People who have houses, they want to downsize, they want to get rid of, they don't want to update, they don't want to fix the roof, they don't want to fix the furnace, they don't want to do the electrical work, things like that. They just want to sell it and walk away. And if we can get in front of people that have equity in their homes and that have some sort of deferred maintenance, maybe the house is at least 15 years old and has high equity, those are some of the best opportunities right there. So we put together a list of those. That's what we do within our House Buying Masters program, help you do that. And then we're going to send out mailers to the properties. That is the way Trace got this particular deal. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't like doing mail. It doesn't work. I don't, it's a waste of time, blah, 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 all these different reasons. And I don't suggest you sit around the table with your family. We don't want to sit around licking stamps and envelopes yourself. I don't want you spending your time at all doing that. We don't want to use any softwares or free lists to manage your marketing campaigns. Those are a lot of times a waste of money. Sometimes you will get outdated materials, outdated lists. If you have, the worst thing you can do is use a bad list. And where I see a lot of people making the biggest mistakes is by using free lists they get through softwares that are outdated. They're several years old. People have already sold the properties, and then they go and waste money and time creating these mailing campaigns that don't work. And if you do that, you're just kind of like destined for failure to begin with. So please don't do that. The next thing we want to do is work directly with the mail house and have them printed and delivered. So if we're going to do that, we want to make sure we're paying the cost of a postage stamp or less to get everything printed and delivered. And I was going to show you some examples of that. There are several of these you can use that will print your mail, but my mouse is screwed up. It's not letting me navigate too well. So I might be a little bit short on some of the presentation stuff tonight. It is acting up. So anyway, I mentioned earlier, Trace was one of my members I've been working with. He used this particular strategy, and we have many strategies inside of our program. We use from online to offline to print to some old school style marketing stuff that works incredibly well. But Trace he happened to use direct mail to get his 3 deals in 60 days, 125,000 in profit. Who cares how you get them if it works, right? I mean, that's what I've been told by a lot of my members. Like, I don't care what we do, as long as I can write a check to get some leads and I get a whole lot bigger check back on my profits from my sale of my properties, I'm happy. And that's what we do. So Trace says, I basically asked him, I said, what was the biggest thing holding you back in your real estate investing business? And Trace said, it was finding deals, but our marketing campaign I got through you, Chad Lauer, is working, and solid deals are coming through. And he was mentioning that around the time he got his first 3 deals, 125,000 in projected profit on the first 3. He's gone on to do about 20 in the last year. And he said he'll net about 500,000, which is sweet, really awesome. Went from doing like 2 deals a year to last year making about $500,000 just by following one of the strategies I teach in the program. It's excellent. So really happy to see that. I love seeing results like that. Next thing is here, we also teach a strategy in our program on how to run newspaper ads. And you might think, well, shoot, newspaper ads, what do you do? Place classified ads? That's absolutely not how we do it. But we have several strategies, and some of the secret sauce in the program. Intellectual property is what we use to generate big checks. Some of the biggest checks we can, that I've ever gotten out of real estate are from my newspaper ads. And we do about, I think our best year in the newspaper, we did about 17 deals, made about $850,000. So we average a little over $50,000 per house, and some of them get in the 80s and $100,000 area on these. But Justin just got a couple of big checks in November 4th. He got a big check for $153,000. And this one was November 12th. I got the dates mixed around. So this was November 12th, 2020, $153,000 check. Looks like $153,639.90 from what it looks like in the picture. And then, like I said, I'd mix these dates around here on this accidentally, but Then he got one. See if I can advance this. He got another big check on this. Should be November 4th. Sorry for my mistake. The check says November 4th, 2020, and that one was $128,948. So you got a couple of big checks on a couple of really sweet deals from the newspaper. And this is a post that Justin shared. I said, "Who's got deals working? You're either now are either in contract to buy, rehabbing, or selling." And Justin says, "We're under contract to sell a rehab next Tuesday. We're under contract to sell a wholesale deal the first week of January. We're staging a JV rehab next week. We have a completed condo rehab that we're getting ready to list, but the next door neighbor is wanting to buy it before we list it. We have a rehab just starting trash out this week, and we have 2 wholesales closing in the next 45 days. And that was all from the newspaper ads that we've been running in Justin's campaign. And that's really the only strategy he's been using. He also has tried another strategy, but this one's been the one he's really stuck with. And it's worked really well for him. He gets most of his deals from this. So our last week we had our mastermind call. I think it was last Thursday night it was. And I was taking notes as we were talking to our members, and Justin was reporting some of his deals. And he said he's got a deal he's getting ready to put under contract where his projected profit, or actually he's got one under contract he's buying. And he said his profits are going to be 60 to 70,000. He's done 11 to 12 deals. He'll do 11 to 12 deals. And then the next thing I asked him is purchase price 346,000, cleaning bill 200 on one, and sold for 441,000, a profit of 42,000. So these were 3 different things that Justin mentioned during our mastermind call, and confirms, yes, sir, at the bottom there.